Every time I land in Turboprop Flight Simulator, the plane gets bigger. No, not like. We'll be switching up the model, starting with the smallest plane in PTFS, the PS26/MS26. And because I'm terrible at landing, we'll be using autopilot. But once we get closer to the runway, I'll have to manually land the plane. So the rules are, I'm allowed to use autopilot, but when we're close to the runway, turn autopilot off and manually land the aircraft. Also, since we're in the seaplane, water landings do count. But they don't give me points. If I can land on the runway, that's where I get a lot of points. So we're pretty close to the runway, so I just turned the autopilot off. No. Okay. There's another plane on the runway. What the hell? Yeah, get off the runway. Will this be a better landing? No, it was not. But we have landed. Stop. Nice. Okay, so according to Google Chrome, the next biggest plane, the next smallest plane is the E-42. So E-42's next. Oh yeah. Nice, light gray livery than the traditional bluish gray livery. I forgot to mention this with PS26, but I'll be giving you the real-life basis of these aircraft. The E-42, not a lot of people know, but the E-42 is based off of the E-2 Skyhawk. Sort of forgot the name there, but then I remembered. Alright. Make sure to have flaps down. But if we're going... Oh my god, brother! If we're going too slow with flaps, we definitely will stall. Oh, easy. And if I don't do well on landings... Whoa! Another rule is, if the landing is like very late, I'm allowed to have one more try. If the landing is late, I'm allowed one more try. Also, I also took inspiration from like Wes's video from if you crash in PTFS, the plane gets bigger, or that one guy's video in Project Flight. When he lands in Project Flight, his plane gets bigger. So, shout out to those two for giving me inspiration to do this challenge. Okay, so far looking good. Descending, nice. Bit of a tail strike, but I'd say that was pretty smooth. We sorta landed on the center line. Next up is the RL-42. The real life basis, the ATR-42. But the nickname I like giving the ATR-42 is the baby version of the ATR-72, because that's pretty much what it is. The ATR-42 is just a smaller version of the ATR-72. I also wonder, what is this livery based off of? Kind of reminds me of Ryanair, but the blue is replaced, but the yellow stripe is replaced with an orange stripe. So this is pretty much Ryanair if they use a yellow underbelly, orange stripe, and the orange vertical stabilizer. Almost forgot to turn off autopilot there. So, another rule is, if I land too early, I cannot retry. If I land late, I can retry. I can only retry if I land late. That was also pretty smooth. Not buttered though, because I was not on the center line. Next up, with no surprise, is our good old friend, ATR-42. No, not ATR-42, ATR-72. Need to change... Had to change the runway real quick. Oh yeah. If the plane doesn't go around, for example, like this, I'm only allowed to show it one time. As we all know, the RL-72 is based off of the ATR-72. And I also know where Alex took inspiration with this livery. This livery right here is similar to the Trans-Asia livery, if I'm correct. No, Trans-Asia Flight 235, the ATR-72 that turned off the wrong engine and crashed wing first into a bridge. Yeah. Oh yeah. When I went to, not sure if many people know about this building, but if you live near Sunridge here in Canada, I went to, Activate. Now, if you don't know what Activate is, it's a place where you play a bunch of these fun games. So when I went to Activate, I actually got some airplane spotting. I didn't bring my phone, so I couldn't record. But the planes I saw today was American Airlines A320 and Air Canada A300. No, not A300. Air Canada A330 with an Air Canada A330-300. I think the A330-300 is the variant with winglets. Q400. Couldn't tell what airline it was, but I think it was WestJet. And the WestJet Boeing 737. Sorry I couldn't get any recordings of those videos. Well, any recordings of those planes, because I forgot to bring my phone. Oh yeah, during the long weekend here in spring in Canada, I actually went to a museum that had an aviation museum that had the Concorde. And a Tupolev Tu-144. and I was able to go inside both planes, so that was a fun experience. Next up are the VTOL planes, XV-40, PV-40, and MV-40. Because we did both passenger planes, we'll be doing all VTOL planes, starting with the fastest one, the XV-40, which I have this livery. I just like this XV-40 livery right here better than the traditional brown one when you first download Turboprop Flight Simulator. Just like how it's more colorful. Also kind of reminds me of Ryanair, you know, the blue bottom, yellow stripe, white fuselage. And no, I'm not doing a VTOL landing because I'm not experienced enough to do VTOL landings. Oh god. Slam. Ooh, that was a little hard. POV your average Ryanair landing. And if we overrun, I am not allowed to retry. But hey. Whoa. But hey, we were able to land XV-40. Time to move on to the PV-40. Here we are, now with PV-40. Originally in the orange livery. Now I changed it to this nice blood or crimson looking red. I like to change PV-40's livery once a bit. And of course, PV-40 is the more luxury version of XV-40. That was not even on the runway at all. That was on the side of the runway. To transition into MV-40, let's do this. Nice. And now, what used to be the newest plane before MS-26. Also having this nice desert camouflage livery. Might change it back to the original gray livery. Autopilot? Why are we going around? Okay. Oh wow, we're going very fast. I'm not sure. Is MV-40 the new fastest plane? Nah, I don't think so. So, XV-40 is the fastest plane. But MC-400 and MC-130 are the fastest military planes because of their JTOL boost. And slam. A bounce. Average Ryanair landing. Future me editing here. Yeah, I didn't realize that the plane took off again and nearly collided into PV-40 and crashed into the ocean. So, I guess you guys got to see a little bit of a blooper footage right there. Okay, back to present me, still recording this video. Alright, now we're with the C-130 class. C-130, of course, being a real plane. And funnily enough, C-130 in this game has its original name. It wasn't changed like the ATR-42 or the C-400. So there's a little fun fact right there. Alright. So for whatever reason, the autopilot decided to go all the way around from runway 20 to runway 02 here in Gulf Airport. Not the GOLF, the GULF Gulf, like Gulf of Mexico. And since it was pretty classic for a cargo plane to flip onto its side back in 1997 and 2009, if you know what I mean, we'll be doing that right after this landing. Yes, I was talking about FedEx 14 and FedEx 80. FedEx 14 being in 1997, I believe, and FedEx 80 being in 2009. And as you expect, we're gonna end it off with the biggest planes in the game, the C-400 class. Real life basis, A400M. And of course, to start off with the C-400 class, we're starting with the one and only OG plane that started this game, the C-400. Funnily enough, when I went to Europe in the long weekend in spring for Canada, I actually went to a European airport and I actually saw an A400M in real life. I'll make a post of me with the plane, spotting the plane very soon. Hey, that was nice and smooth, but not on the center line, so you know what that means. If a plane does a... I have a rule in TFS. If a plane does a butter, they crash. Alright, HC-400. I believe in the original 2017 game of TFS, HC-400 was not this shiny. It was less shiny. It was more like the same texture as C-400, just with this livery. Wasn't as glossy. But then I believe the plane was changed to be more glossy. Oh dear. Hard. Future me editing here again. Like with MV40, did not realize the plane took off and started heading for the plane in the distance. And collided into it. And crashed from that collision. Back to present me recording the video. And last but not least, we're starting it off with the MC. Last but not least, we're ending it off with the final C400 class, the MC400. Won't be using JTOL for this landing because I count JTOL as cheating.
100, 40, 30, 20, 10.
And to end it off, we did a nice butter landing. Yes, I was on the center line. You saw that front nose gear right on the center line. Future me editing here for the final time. Didn't realize, left the engines full power and caused the plane to overrun the runway into the ocean.